One of the most basic sets of questions we get is on the issue of how do I apply to your LLM program? So in this video, I'll be discussing four main topics. The first is who is eligible to apply? Secondly, if you are eligible, what are the basic prerequisites? Third, what are the qualifications we look for in applicants? And finally, what's the process for applying to the program? The first thing I'll say is that you can find detailed information on our admissions process if you go to the How to Apply page on our website. That's not actually an embedded hyperlink. It'd be cool if you could just click that. I don't actually know how to do it. You'll have to type it into your web browser. Okay, on that first issue, who is eligible? The basic concept here is that all applicants need an existing background in law, and that can be met in three ways. An applicant can have a primary degree in law, so something like a Juris Doctorate degree or an LLB. Secondly, an applicant can be already bar certified in any country. And third, an applicant may be eligible if they have a master's degree in a field related to law and some legal experience. So for example, an applicant might not have an LLB, but they have a master's in finance, and they've spent a couple years maybe working in the world of corporate finance regulation. Maybe they worked at a accounting firm and have experience with tax regulation issues. So that could also make an applicant eligible for our program. In terms of prerequisites, the most basic prerequisite is that all applicants need an undergraduate degree. And if you don't have one when you're applying, then you will need an undergraduate degree, and specifically you will need your actual diploma by the time you would actually enroll in our program in August. The next prerequisite is that all applicants need to establish that they have English language proficiency. This can be met in three ways. Either an applicant could be a native English speaker, or the applicant has already completed a degree that was in English, like a BA or a master's degree. And finally, if they haven't met one of those first two criteria, then they would need to have completed either the TOEFL or the IELTS. For the TOEFL, we require a minimum score of 92. For the IELTS, we would need a minimum score of a 6.5 and a 7 in writing. And the final requirement before applying is that applicants need to have a valid passport. But you would need that anyways, obviously, to simply travel to China. So if you don't already have a valid passport, I recommend you apply for one as soon as possible. In terms of what we look for in applicants, this is a big discussion. But what I'll start by saying is that we don't have any minimum test score or GPA threshold requirement. We are looking at applicants from all around the world. And as a result, we have to look at all our applicants as holistically as possible. So of course, we look at, does the applicant have a strong academic background? We also like to see applicants that have extracurricular activities. So things like moot court, law review, clinical experience, internship experience. We get a lot of questions from students about whether we require a certain number of years of work experience, and the simple answer is no. We do like to see that our applicants have work experience on their resume or CV, but it's not required to apply. Another thing that we often see in our top applicants is that they can express some compelling explanation for how studying in China fits into their career plans, fits into their academic interests. So for example, we have applicants who work at a law firm where they've seen more and more of their clients become Chinese clients. Or maybe they're graduating from a law school in a country where when they look around the business going on in their country, they have seen that so many of the new infrastructure projects, so many of the new business deals being done in their country are by Chinese companies. And they want to make sure that when they graduate from an LLM program, they can have the experience that puts them at the forefront of handling this new type of business that their country is attracting. Finally, in terms of the procedure for applying to our program, there are 3 main steps. The first is that applicants need to submit an online application through the PKU portal. After they've done this, they'll need to physically send their application documents to our admissions office. And finally, for selected candidates, they will go through a video interview process. The timeline for admissions is that our application cycle typically opens in October of each year, and the deadline is March 31st of each year. And there are a few reasons why applicants might want to apply as early as possible within that process. The first is that if you apply before March, the application fee is waived. The second reason is that we assess all our applicants on a rolling basis, which means that if you've applied early, we may be able to get you an early decision on whether you've been admitted to our program, which in turn means we can issue you a pre-admissions letter, which can be very helpful for scholarships. And we'll do another video on scholarship-related matters and how to bring down the costs of your program. And the final point I'll make is just a small thing that we will work very hard to answer any questions you have and to make the application process as easy to navigate as possible for all our students interested in applying to our program. So please feel free to reach out to us with any other questions that you might come up with. We're happy to help.